Hi traders, welcome to Pivot Trading. Before we continue on today's topic, please read the disclaimer. This is not an investment recommendation, advice, research report, or stock tip of any nature. We are doing this video only to understand how to read derivative data and technical details, strictly for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purpose only and there are no buy or sell trade and investment recommendations here. Me and my channel will not be responsible for any profit or loss. Before taking any trades, please consult your financial advisor.
Before we begin, let's do a quick recap. What is CPR?
The fundamental idea behind this indicator is that the particular day's trading range captures everything about the market sentiment, and hence this range can be used to predict the price movement of the following days. The previous day's high, low, and close prices are used to calculate the CPR levels for the current day, and these levels remain constant throughout the day. This indicator was first introduced by Mark Fisher in this book The Logical Trader. Frank Ochoa added another dimension, central pivot point, to this indicator. Types of CPR: ascending CPR, descending CPR. In an ascending CPR, price tends to go higher until a CPR appears below a previous day CPR and price breaching the CPR in a downtrend. In an descending CPR, price tends to go low until a CPR appears above a previous day CPR and price breaching the previous day CPR in an uptrend.
Okay, let's get down to today's topic. Today, we will learn how to use CPR pivots to identify trend. Let's apply price action. Today we learn about CPR tricks, which can be used to identify trends. Using simple CPR price action logic, we can identify the probability of a bullish or bearish trend. Let's look at an example. This is a CPR diagram. Here we see three resistance points on the upside, R1, R2, R3. And we have three supports, S1, S2, S3. Now there is the CPR in the middle. Now, after market opening, if price opens above CPR, there is a probability this will be a bullish day. Now let's see the opposite case. Look at this chart. Here we see price opening below CPR. After market opening, in this case, it is highly probable that the day trend is going to be bearish. Let's continue. Now it's very important to train our eyes to identify the differences between a normal, wide, and a narrow CPR. In this diagram, we will learn about the difference between a normal CPR and a narrow CPR. On the left, we see a normal CPR will have the top central pivot line and the bottom central pivot line, not too far and not too close from the pivot point. On the right, we see a narrow CPR. Here, the top central pivot line and the bottom central pivot line is very close to the pivot point. You may see some narrow CPR almost being merged with the pivot. Okay, let's move on. In this diagram, we will learn about the difference between a normal CPR and a wide CPR. Like on the previous chart, on the left, we see a normal CPR will have the top central pivot line and the bottom central pivot line, not too far and not too close from the pivot point. On the right, we see a wide CPR. Here, the top central pivot line and the bottom central pivot line is far away from the pivot point.
You may see some wide CPR have the top central and the bottom central pivot point being too far away from the pivot point. Now, let's see how to interpret this into market trend. Now we will learn how CPR width analysis can tell us whether market is going to be trending or sideways. Now, look at this diagram. It shows the top central line and the bottom central line away from the pivot. This indicates that the market may run sideways. This type of CPR is called a wide CPR. Now, let's look at this diagram. This shows top and bottom central pivots closer to pivot point. This indicates that market will be trending. This is called narrow CPR. That's all for now. We will discuss CPR for scalping trades on our next video. Do subscribe to our channel to get notifications on our next video. Bye for now.